let's go ahead and get into this and what we got going on. So our first stop is going to be in Jersey, New Jersey. And we got some stuff when it comes to the dumbing down of people, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and head on over to New Jersey here and see what we got going on. So it says, ability to read, write, or do math is no longer required to teach in New Jersey. So this is coming out the 7th of this year. It says teachers' unions prevail in New Jersey. Of course, it's the unions. They got to make it as easy as possible for them and just forget everybody else. Where it says kids will suffer and literacy is no longer required to teach. Campus Safety reports that New Jersey teachers no longer required to pass basic literacy test. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy passed Act 1669 as part of the state's 2025 budget in June to address a teacher shortage. The law went into effect on the 1st of January of this year. Individuals seeking an instructional certificate will no longer need to pass the Praxis Core test, which I'm sure that's just a garbage test in itself, but at least it was something. Basic skills test for reading, writing, and math that is administered by the state's Commissioner of Education. We need more teachers. That's the excuse. We need more teachers. He said in May. And it said the chamber cleared the bill in a 34-2 vote. This is the best way to get them. So their excuse is we need more teachers. So we're going to make it easier to get the dumbest of the brightest of the dumbs. I guess that's an interesting way of putting it. To come in and teach kids. That's great. And it goes on, this is just a growing trend. We got New York, California, Arizona, lower teacher requirements as well. In 2017, New York also scrapped its basic literacy requirements for teachers, noting it was meant to increase diversity. There it is. That's what we wanted. So in order to bring in more diversity, we gotta lower the limit. Again, there's no merit-based anything anymore. It's just all about skin color. Among teachers or sexual orientation too. According to the NEA, National Education Association, I've done some stuff about them. It ain't good. Only about half of New York students in grades 3 through 8 tested proficient in English and math during the 2022 and 2023 school year, despite the state spending almost twice the national average on education. Think about that. They're spending more money and the kids get dumber. It's almost like that's the plan. Yeah. Let's see here. California and Arizona also lowered requirements for teacher certification by implementing fast-track options for substitute teachers to become full-time educators and eliminating exam requirements to make up shortages in the field that were worsened by the pandemic. Of course, use that as an excuse, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures. Former educator gives opinion on eliminating teacher literacy exams. Erica Sanzi, former educator and current director of outreach at Parents Defending Education, a national grassroots organization, spoke to the National News Desk about her stance against the Act 1669. It's important to know that the teachers union, specifically in this case, the NEA, pushes really hard for this. I'm a former member of the NEA in 2 states. Generally, whenever they push, whatever they push for, tends to do something that's not particularly good for students. This is one of the main reasons why I am just so against unions, because it's always about self-seeking stuff. And in some cases, yeah, people deserve to have more money and stuff like that, but unions is not the way to go. If you want to work there, these are the qualifying terms. If you don't like it, go find somewhere else to do it. But the unions come in and basically tell businesses how they need to run, and that's not how this at all is supposed to be working. I know there's going to be some people in the chat or later in the comments because they're part of unions and stuff like that. I think unions are an absolute joke, and they need to go away for everything. Says the NEA also wants to eliminate all barriers to teaching because that increases their numbers of due-paying members. And when that's your mission, student learning and quality control really aren't priorities at all. And so that's a concern for all. So again, yeah, it's all about what they want. Forget the kids; they don't care. The thing is a lot of teachers that I know are ones that don't even have kids. And so the thing is this another situation where they don't even have kids, so they don't care. They just want their own dues and stuff. That's the thing. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. So I'm not going to sit here and say that's what's going on. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, it says diversity and union priority versus kids. New Jersey teachers unions say the test is unneeded, But if the test is not needed, every teacher would pass easily. So why do many fail an easy test? Because society is completely wayward when it comes to anything of knowledge, common sense, or any type of logical thinking at all. That's really why. It says in Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson sacrifices police safety and education for the sake of the teachers' unions. Blue state union corruption is obvious, but no place is worse than Chicago when it comes to making sure unions are first and kids are last. Now, this is something that's not going to change coming up due to the fact that several of the people going into Trump's administration who have any say in unions when it comes to not only education but also labor, they're pro-union, and they actually want more power for the unions to actually have more power over the company that the union is working for. That's what they want, and they want to make it so the companies have no way of fighting back against the union. So basically, if you own a company and there's a union involved, they want to make it so the union has more say of your own company than you do. And so I would not expect this to get any better. I would expect this to actually either stay the same or get worse in some areas in some type of fashion when it comes to that. So, yeah, this is just kind of a growing trend going along with something that we've seen for a while now. This is nothing new. We're just starting to see more extreme levels on this. So now, if you have kids in New Jersey and they're going to be taught by teachers, those teachers, well, they may not even need to have any type of basic understanding of reading, writing, or math. So that's good. That's sarcasm if you guys didn't know that. But this brought something to my mind, a scripture that I thought I would share with you guys. Proverbs 1-7. I think this is pretty key. This, when you go into the context of it, it's mainly about, a father teaching his kids type of deal, but it's still it's a practical something that we can practically apply for this situation as well, and the situation we see going on in the world. So it's Proverbs 1-7 says, the proverb of Solomon to the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to discern the sayings of understanding, to receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the naive, to the youth knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase in learning, and a man of understanding will acquire wise counsel. To understand a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and fools despise wisdom and instruction. And this is one of those things where we can kind of go in reverse order on this. It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And it's one of those things where really, who is wisdom? To find wisdom in this world, to have wisdom in this world, to not be a fool, is through Jesus Christ. And so having fear of Jesus Christ, having fear of the Lord, is the beginning of wisdom. And so when it comes to this, we have a society now that has no fear of God, has no fear of the Lord, has no fear at all. There's no reverence for the Almighty Creator. And so is it any surprise that an entire society, entire world that has no fear of the Lord is continuously getting dumber and seeking ways to not find knowledge, to not increase in knowledge, to not increase in wisdom, to not seek counsel and to learn and all these things? Of course not. This is exactly what the proverb is saying, is if you have no fear of the Lord, then you don't care about any of these things. And so that's why we continue to see this society just dwindle down like this. That's why we continue to see things like this, where you no longer have to have basic things in order to get by in life, in order to teach others who need these basic things to get by in life. And so when you have an entire society that gets dumber, with no fear of the Lord, with no seeking of knowledge and wisdom, well, then you now create a governmental system that's there basically to say you can depend on us in order to give you all of everything that you need. They go hand in hand. They work perfectly in that type of way. So it brought Proverbs to my mind when it came to that news going on there. So yeah, if you're a parent in New Jersey, I'd be figuring out other ways for schooling.